Hello everyone, I'm back with my 4-month update. Now my intention was to do a 3-month update, but as you can see, I'm over a month too late. So here we are. To start off, month 3, it started out with the company retreat. We went to Charleston, South Carolina in August. So it was really cool to meet everyone. Because working remotely, you really only know people from like the chest up on Zoom. So it was cool to put like a whole body to the face that you had been interacting with for 3 months. And of course, like the running joke was, trying to guess how tall everyone was because sitting down, you really have no idea. But yeah, it was really cool to meet everyone, see what everyone's like in person. And I will say it just made it easier to interact with people because I'm the type of person that like I feel bad asking you a question if I've literally like never had a conversation with you. So it was nice to like get that formal introduction in person to everyone. So now it's just so much easier to interact with people on Slack because like you know for sure who you're talking to. Like you know who you're talking, but you know what I mean. You've actually like met them, talked to them about not work stuff. So I don't know, it just makes the interaction better. But yeah, so after retreat, I had to give my 3-month presentation. So during town hall, it's something that every new person has to do once you hit 3 months. You give a kind of like a PowerPoint presentation, basically talk about a little bit about your background before working at Township, some projects that you worked on since you've been there, what you've learned, what tech stack you've gotten to work with, and just like changes that you've gone through since you've been there, how you've grown and stuff like that. All right, so I did that, and then I'd say the biggest difference between month 1 and 2 and then months 3 and 4 is I started working on full features. Before it was more so like change this one little thing, change the styling. There were simple tickets, but I remembered I think during one of my one-on-ones and also during my last update video, if I'm not mistaken, I said that I wanted more of a challenge, and I definitely got it. So I had this feature, and I remember like on Slack talking to my boss, and he candidly reminded me that I asked for a challenge. I was like, "Yep, yeah, you're exactly right." But no, it was nice. It was nice, and like I definitely like drastic difference between months. Like I said, between months 1 and 2 and months 3 and 4, and I'm glad that I said that. Just because like I feel like that made me grow that much faster. I mean, I was already learning a lot, but like I really learned a lot between month 3. It was like night and day. It's crazy. But yeah, so that feature was merged to main, and then I want to say I worked on 2 more full features. I think it's 2 more. It was more than 1. How about that? I know I worked on full features. Just leave it at that. But yeah, so it was cool just to have more responsibility. I've definitely noticed that I'm able to work much more independently. Some tickets, I don't have to ask for help at all. Mind you, there's still tickets, of course, where I make it 80% of the way. And the other 20%, I have absolutely no idea how to finish it. But, ask for help and you get it the rest of the way. It just like, I guess it depends on what it is. Like, when you start off working on the same project, you kind of, I guess, grow with the project. Like, and I remember saying, this is my manager in my one-on-one, that I never really knew at what point I had learned Vue. I just did. And like, I remember I wrote a computed property and like, I just typed away, not even think about it. And I look back, I was like, okay, check you out. Like, when did you know that? When did you learn that? Because before I like had to look stuff up, I had to pattern match, see what somebody else had done on another page that was similar that I was trying to copy. But yeah, so I don't know. It really is true. Like they say that once you get a job, the speed at which you learn is probably faster than your entire journey. And it's probably just because like it's been narrowed down what you're supposed to focus on. You have one project that that you keep working on, and like the tickets that you're assigned, it just forces you to learn, and you have a timeline, like from sprint to sprint. All right, this stuff has to be done. And then you next sprint, you get new assignments or whatever. So, but yeah, even at months 3 and 4, like there's still a couple bouts of imposter syndrome, I must say. I remember specifically one day, one of the projects I had been working on, we got like a laundry list of bugs that were wrong. And I remember looking, like my manager had done some of them, and all like the easy tickets, like style, copy issues. And I was like, dang, like those are like the ones that I probably could have done. And then I read the ones that are left, and I was like, I have no idea. So I paired with my onboarding buddy on one of them. It was a little similar to something that I had worked on. He was like able to just like rattle it off. Like I knew what was going on, but like I don't know. I was comparing his speed to my speed, and like you never should do that. But so like I guess started a little bit of imposter syndrome in that there, and then it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 more tickets left after that. And I kid you not, one of the tickets, like I didn't even understand the question, like not let alone how to implement it or how to fix it. I didn't even know what they were talking about. Like the level of language in that ticket was just over my head, like to the moon over my head. And I remember that day I was like, what am I doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Like almost had a whole meltdown. Not really a whole meltdown, but you know, I had a couple moments actually. But yeah. And so like I got off that day and like I was thinking about that all night. And then I woke up the next morning with like the biggest chip on my shoulder, and mind you, still didn't know what to do with that ticket, but it was another ticket that I had briefly looked at the day before. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think this is possible. It's like, I've learned not to look at something as a whole, look at it in different pieces. Cause like, for example, someone asked you to build Facebook, like you might not know what to do. If someone asked you to build a nav bar, that's different. And then build a button, build this, build that, and all together that you just built Facebook. But if I actually do it as a whole, it sounds more daunting than it is. And so I just like chipped away at that ticket, and I was like, I did it. And like, I remember I posted in Slack or whatever, and they were like, huh, you know, good job. And then the next day, I want to say this was a new ticket. I mean, a new bug that was reported, and like the owners and like one of the managers are going, kind of going back and forth in the Slack channel, kind of like, oh, well, you know, we may not be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I call it offering my solution. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, like I knew I could do the ticket, but like just, it was like the flow of the ticket, like there's something they wanted to add. And I don't know, I put myself in the shoes of a user, and I was like, you know, if you do this, you also have to do this, which wasn't necessarily in the ticket. So I did it, and then I kind of added my own interpretation of what they wanted. And so I remember I posted in Slack, I was like, because it was a ticket I was assigned to, and then this ticket wasn't assigned to anyone. The other ticket was assigned to my supervisor. And so like, I think that day my supervisor was going to come in late. So I was like, technically I wasn't assigned this ticket, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And so like, I don't know, I kept at it, and I got it. And so I posted in the Slack channel, here's my proposal for this ticket. And they were like, huh, this could work. And I was like, really? They were like, yeah, they gave me feedback, like, you know, change this, blah, 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 just small little things. And then like took their suggestions, made the changes, and they were like, thank you, like that's great, thank you. And I was like, yes, like I had a moment. And it was like, and it goes to show, like, same thing happened with my initial journey. I've had like really terrible days, but I've always, like, looking back, I realized a really terrible day was always followed by a really great day. But you had to just suffer through that really terrible day, and then it was a breakthrough after that. And I feel like a lot of people, you may have that really terrible day, and you may take that to mean, well, this journey isn't for me, or you may want to quit because it's too hard. But like, suffer through that day, and that's when you learn. Like, you learn things that you don't understand, because you can go back, like, I remember when I was stuck on this project for 2 weeks, and like, this is what the fix was, this is what my solution was. But like, when you do something well, or you figure out on the first try, you don't remember it because there's nothing memorable about that experience. So yeah, I say all that to say this. In the beginning, I had imposter syndrome every day, probably for the first couple weeks, until I like remotely knew what I was doing, I'd say. But like, the difference between that and then months 3 and 4 is it may be like a day, an hour, one little part of a ticket, but not the whole ticket, that like I have like an imposter syndrome moment, but like it doesn't last long at all. And then it's usually, if not 95%, 99% of that, I would say, followed by a win, a breakthrough. Like, I'll figure something out or whatever. So you just got to keep at it, basically. That's the moral of that story. But yeah, another thing, they're doing re-leveling at my company. So they have this thing called the career framework. So you're given the option to choose between 2 tracks, individual contributor and manager. I can't remember like the fancy title for the manager, but the manager track basically. And so during one-on-ones, we're asked, which track do we want to do? I chose individual contributor, just because at the moment, I feel like I'm not the greatest at explaining things. And I feel like as a manager, that's one thing that you need to be really good at. Because not only do you have to know how to explain things, you have to be able to explain things to someone else's level of understanding. And I feel like that's where I fall short. But like, I guess the good thing is the 2 tracks are pretty much the same up until that very last level when you kind of branch off. So you can change at any time. I say this now, but I may change my mind. But at the moment, I chose individual contributor track. What else? One tip I will say, don't be afraid to ask questions. And also when you're pairing with someone more senior than you, don't be afraid to interrupt them. And what I mean by that is, as a junior, I guess, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure other people can relate as well. But as a junior, sometimes you feel obligated, like you're supposed to know what they're talking about. And like, they could be showing you something and they're like, yeah, because X, Y, Z. And you just feel obligated to like shake your head. And deep down, you have no idea what they're talking about, but you don't want to be the one to say you don't know something because like, it's like pointing a sign, like I'm not supposed to be here, but like, don't be afraid to interrupt them and like, hey, whoa, what do you mean by that? Why'd you just do that? What does this mean? Let's back it up, slow it down. Because, and this goes for anybody really. You have to realize a lot of people, when they explain things from their level of understanding. And you also have to realize that the person you're explaining, whatever it is you're trying to explain to, they might not have your same level of understanding. So you kind of have to like dumb it down a little bit to make sure they understand. And we always say, well, you didn't say anything, which is true. And like, if you don't let them know that your level of understanding probably isn't on the same level or sometimes even in the same atmosphere, you have to let them know so that they can like tone it down or a little bit. I remember one time I was pairing with my supervisor and he had like a little spiel and I was just like, what in the world? Like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. And at the end, he was like, did you understand that? And I was like, nope. Not at all. And like, I was so scared to say that, but he laughed a little bit. He was like, all right, let's back it up. Let's back it up. And like, he was fine explaining to me, like the second time I got it, but the first time, like, don't be afraid to tell someone that you don't know something. And like, that's the one thing I learned. It's okay not to know something. As a junior, like you feel like you're supposed to be, like a code ninja, as some people say on Twitter. But like, you're new to the job. And like, I know in my experience, like, especially when I was learning Vue, like had it not been for this job, I would have never have touched Vue. So like when it came to me not knowing something with Vue, like why would I know? I literally have never seen it until then. So it's like, it's okay. What else? As far as the future, I hope to, of course, continue to be an individual contributor or grow into more of an individual contributor, I'll say. At your year mark, you're reevaluated to see if you could level up. So that's my goal for the year, is to level up. So we'll see how that goes. I still have not worked or learned even anything with the back end. So eventually I want to know what it's about. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to be at a disadvantage the longer I go without learning anything about the back end. So hopefully maybe before the year's out, I'll get to see what it's like on the other side, as they say. I still haven't gotten to work with React at work. I worked on it personally. So hopefully I'll get to do something with React in the near future. What else? I can't think of anything. I had like a little list of things to remind myself. But yeah, I guess to sum it up, the big difference between months 1 and 2 and months 3 and 4 is just a lot of growth. I guess my days are much more routine now. Like I log on and I know what I'm working on. And if I need help, I'll ping somebody on Slack. But lately it's been more so like I'll post a Loom video in the Slack channel like, hey, here's something I'm thinking, or here's one little thing I'm stuck on, but I'm still working on other things. And then like I'll just have a conversation in Slack. I won't actually have to pair with anyone. A couple times because of a new project, like I have had to pair with other people. But yeah, just surprising myself, really. I guess that's the moral of the story. Like definitely surprised myself. At the end of the day, I am glad that I like put this, I guess, fake expectation on myself, just because like I really like showed myself like how much I can grow in so little amount of time. So I hope I keep it up. Another thing I want to do is go back to coding more when I get off, because when I learned, I spent so much time coding, all my hobbies went to the back burner. So lately when I get off, like I log off, I don't come back in my office at all to the next day. I've been into getting my 10,000 steps a day. So like I've been much more into fitness than anything else. But I do want to get back to learning new things on the side. Just, like I said, like there's like React I haven't touched in really since the collab lab. That ended in May. So a couple months I haven't touched that. So I definitely want to get back into that. I even thought about going back to the Odin project curriculum. I have like a React tutorial, a course, from Udemy, John Smilga. I always talk about him. He's added like 2 or 3 more projects and more lectures since I went through the course. So yeah, just little other things I've been wanting to do. But yeah, main thing, keep growing, keep learning. Not sure how often I'll do more videos. Probably won't get another video from me until 6 months, and after that, maybe not till a year. I don't know, making videos hasn't really been as high on the totem pole, I'd say, recently, but I know a lot of people have been asking when am I going to make my next video, so here we are. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.